me introduce myself a little bit. I'm Christie Nguyen. I'm one of the leads in the TE team for content and data intelligence solutions. Okay. And today we're going to talk about how to protect your most valuable data asset against cyber attacks. Okay? But before I get started, let me tell you a little joke. Okay? It's kind of related to the weather, how hot it is. I know it's cool in here, but it's so hot outside. So this joke was about a contest. To see who would be the most frugal person. So a cheapskate, some sort. So there are 3 people who made it to the final round, and the topic was a fan, like cooling fans, like one of these fans that we have at our table out there. Yeah. But this contest was about fan, but it was a long time ago, so people were still using handheld fans. Okay, so the first person, the first contestant said, "Okay, I'm a very frugal person," and the judges asked him, "Okay, so what's your story?" And he said, "Well, I have this fan for about 10 years now. And my dad passed it on to me, and I have used it for 10 years, but it's still good." So the judge asked him, "So how do you do that? How do you keep it still in good shape?" And he said, "Well, every time I use it, I just open it gently, just halfway, and just fan myself 5 times only. And then I gently put it down, and only when I'm very hot again, like sweating, then I would open the fan again and fan for 5 times. Then the judge says, "Wow, that's very good." So then the next person came up and said, "I'm even more frugal than that. I have this fan for 20 years, and it was passed down to me from my grandfather to my father and my father to me, and I have had it for 20 years. So the judge asked him, "Wow, how do you keep your fan for 20 years? He said, "Well, every time I need to use it, I just open it up a third of the way, and I fan myself for 3 times only. And I gently put it down, and only when I really needed to use it again, I would pick it up and use it again. So that's how I've been keeping it for 20 years in such a good shape." And it just, wow, better than the other guy even. So then the last guy, the third person, came in, and he said, "Well, I have had this fan for 40 years, and it was passed down to me from my great-grandfather to my father, and then to me." So he's asking, "Oh, how do you keep it for 40 years? And he said, "Well, I just hold the fan like this and shake my head around to create some wind. And I, only put the fan down when I'm dizzy." So, and then the judge, "Wow, you really frugal, so you got the best prize." Okay, so that's my icebreakers, sort of. So I know you're still getting lunches, but we will have a little contest at the end, a little quiz if you may. And I do have some good prizes, so please make sure you pay attention. And the best prize is this rapid wireless charging. You can use it as a phone stand. You can use it as a charger also. And there's some little trinkets we give away at our tables out there. Okay? So please make sure you pay attention. Okay, my clicker. So as you know, the theme of this conference is all about security, right? How do you protect your data? How do you protect your assets, right? So there are three major categories of cyber attacks out there. One is malware, right? Those are the malicious software that you may pick up in email or somehow made it to your laptop or to your desktop, and you inadvertently click on them and it infects your data. The second type of cyber attacks is phishing. So you might get a phishing email or text or whatever. It's to trick you into click on the certain link and will corrupt your data. And the third type of ransomware attack that we have heard a lot nowadays, a big organization got affected by ransomware, and they had their data encrypted, and they couldn't recover it until they pay the ransom. Okay? So our main talk today is focusing on the third type of attack, ransomware protection. Okay? So before I go into the solutions that we have, there is a main difference between cybersecurity versus cyber resiliency. Okay? Cybersecurity is more on the proactive side, how you protect, how you prevent your asset from being attacked or from being at risk. So you would protect your more of the perimeter type of prevention, right? So you install security software, ransomware protection software to make sure to prevent the malicious attack from getting into your perimeters. Whereas the cyber resiliency is more reactive, right? How do you get back to service after you get one of those ransomware attack? So it's more of the reactive actions or processes that you take to recover your data and ensure that your business will continue to operate after the ransomware attack. Okay, so it's a very important distinction here. I know as you see, a lot of vendors out there offer their cybersecurity solution, and some of them also offer cyber resiliency solution. Cyber resiliency also encompasses some of the cybersecurity solutions as well. And we are focused more today on the cyber resiliency side, how to make sure that you are resilient before against some of these cyber attacks. Okay, so that's very important concept to remember. So when we talk about cyber resiliency, right, the old adage is 3-2-1. So you need to make sure that you have the 3-2-1 strategy. right? 3 is to make sure that you have 3 different copies of your data. 2 is to make sure that you have your data stored in 2 different media. And 1 is to make sure that you have 1 copy of the data at the remote site. But nowadays, 3-2-1 strategy is not enough, right? You need to have 3-2-1 plus 1-0. So you also need to have an offline air-gapped, immutable storage repository for your data, right? So we're focusing more, more on the immutable storage solution today. I know we only have about half an hour at the most, so that we narrow our focus on just the immutable solutions that you want to leverage to protect your data. The 0 is to also make sure that you practice all of the recovery, disaster recovery of your data to make sure that your data is recoverable, and make sure all of the run procedure is well practiced. So in case of disaster happen, in case of attacks happened, you know exactly what to do. So that's the 3-2-1 plus 1-0 strategy, okay? So let's talk about protection against ransomware using backup and object storage, okay? So just a question for you, how many of you today are using backup on object storage? Anybody? Are you using backup storage on object storage? Which storage solution are you using?
Like Google Photos. Yeah, as a
Good. Yeah, that's an important storage medium also to protect your photos. But today we will be talking about backing up your data to object storage to achieve immutability. Okay, it's very important to protect your data is to have immutability. Okay, so the backup mechanism is the oldest and most performed path that any organization would need to make sure that your data is stored and backed up properly. You want to make sure that you have multiple data copies that we talked about earlier, and also multiple versions of your data in case one of the copies of the data got corrupted or get encrypted by the ransomware attacks. You could recover from the good copy of the data by having multiple versionings available. Also, make sure you have retention management, right? Retention management means you need to set the date and time to make sure that your data is protected until the retention time is expired, right? So not only you need to store on the storage which cannot be modified, like warm storage, write once, read many, but you also need to have retention capability, because warm storage only protect your data against modification, because you're only able to write once, but you can read as many as you need, right? So your data is not able to be modified. However, it can still be deleted unwantedly. So by having the retention capability, you will be able to set the retention time to make sure that your data won't be deleted until the retention time is expired, right? So let's say you set retention time to keep email. Google, for example, their corporate policy at first was to keep all of the Gmail for 5 years. But they have a new CEO and they changed the corporate policy to retain only 3 years of the email to save space. So they needed to change the policy to reduce the retention time. So actually there are 2 retention modes available. One is called compliance and the other one is called enterprise mode. So with compliance mode, which is the stricter mode, it won't allow you to shorten the retention time. But in the Google example there, they were using enterprise mode. So they were able to change the retention time from 5 years to 3 years. So when you set up your storage, make sure that you choose the appropriate mode, okay? So the Bitcoin evolution model talks about the backup generations, right? First, the oldest medium for backup is tape, right? And then we transition to backup from disk to tape, or backup to disk, like one of those virtual libraries, virtual disk library that you could back up to. And then we transition to backup with incremental forever, right? So it's reduced your time to back up the whole data set because you only back up the incremental changes. And the last generation of backup is object storage. So nowadays, you really need to have object storage, and we'll go into the benefits of that object storage can offer. But if your organization, if you have important data that you need to keep, object storage is the most appropriate solutions out there. Okay. So why object storage for backup? And at Hitachi, we offer an object storage solution called Hitachi Content Platform. Okay. Hitachi Content Platform has been around for a long time. So Hitachi Content Platform, or HCP for short, has been introduced since about 20 years ago. So it has been proven in the industry, and it is very feature-rich. It has all of the desirable features that you would ever want to have in an object storage platform. Okay, things like replication option. With HCP, you will be able to see the pointer doesn't work, but so with replications, you want to make sure that multiple replication topology is supported. Like for disaster recovery purpose, you want to make sure that you'll be able to replicate your data across multiple sites, and you want to do like many-to-one or one-to-many replication. Also, you want to make sure that you have RAID or erasure coding to protect your data. RAID, like RAID 5, RAID 6, or EC, erasure coding, to protect your data and at the same time to save space. Because with replication, like if you replication to the DR site to make sure you have another copy of the data at the remote site, you would need to have 100% of your data. So if you have 5 terabytes of data you need to protect, you need to buy storage capacity for 10 terabytes. But with erasure coding, the data is spread among from 3 to 6 sites. So you only have to incur the overhead of that one additional site. So if you have 3 sites, for example, then 2 sites would be used to store the data, and you only need a third of the capacity for the erasure coding overhead. Okay, so it helps save space, and by saving space, having storage efficiency, ability to save space will reduce your risk. How? Because it's reduce your exposure, right? So if you have 5 terabytes of storage capacity, and you could make sure that your data is dedupable, compressible, and also use like erasure coding type of replication to reduce the footprint of your storage. So you only need to protect, let's say, 3 terabytes instead of having to protect 5 terabytes of data. Okay, so it helps reduce your risk exposure. Also, HCP support multiple data protection levels, or DPL, right? With DPL features, you can create up to 4 copies of your data, whether it's local or on the remote system. And HCP supports self-healing. So there is a background process that's running constantly to make sure, compare the hash, it's like the fingerprint of your data, to make sure that your data integrity remains intact at all time. And if it detects that one of the copies of the data is corrupted or get encrypted for any reasons, it will perform self-healing to restore the good copy of the data and remove the bad copies. Okay? Some of the other features, the most important one there in blue is object lock, right? With object lock, this is S3 object lock. So S3 is the pretty much standard feature out there that you want to use to store, to write and read your data. So with S3 object lock, it gives you the capability to protect your data end to end. So by end to end, I mean like from the application all the way to the back-end storage. The backup vendor, pretty much all of the backup vendors out there, from Veritas, Commvault, Veeam, Rubrik, or IBM backup, they all support object lock. So what that allows you to do is to set the retention time, allow the backup application to set the retention time, and on the back end, the object storage like HCP will enforce it. So if you want to make sure that your data won't be deleted for 5 years, HCP will use that retention policy set by that backup application to protect your data and ensure that your data is remain intact and won't be deleted, won't be corrupted for 5 years. Okay, so some of these major features that I have on the screen there, I named 12 of them, so we don't have time to go over every one of these features, but those are very important that you would want to have in an object storage, and HCP offers all of those capabilities. Okay. So HCP is designed to be very secure. HCP makes your data safer by having the capabilities to scale almost infinitely with one rack space. You can have up to 1.4 petabytes. Exabytes of storage. So you can scale from a small footprint to all the way to 1.4 exabyte of storage in a single rack. The HCP support up to 80 of these access nodes and 80 of these rack spaces. So you scale almost infinitely. And we, in addition to our well-known VSP, high resiliency, high availability block storage, we also offer very dense and cheap storage. So that will reduce your overall costs, overall TCO. And also, we offer different configurations to if you desire to have, if you require to have high performance access, we also offer the deployment options with all flash to provide low latency and high performance. Also, HCP is very easy to use. It comes with intuitive management interface, and also API available for you to do scripting if needed. And also, as I mentioned, HCP is very reliable and very, very secured. So with all of these features that are built into the products, that's how HCP can provide up to 15 nines durability and 10 nines of accessibility. So very highly rated. And we have proven that it is 1 million times more available than AWS S3. Okay? So that's how reliable HCP is. And as I mentioned, we integrate with all of the backup application vendors out there, from Oracle, Veritas, Commvault, Veeam, Rubrik, etc. Everything have been tested and qualified to work well with our object storage offering. Okay, so that's how you would protect your object storage, the data that you stored in the object storage, like backup and archival data. So let's talk about how you might want to protect your primary data that you usually have stored in the file servers, for example. How would you protect it against ransomware for one of those primary data storage? Okay? So there are a lot of devices out there that need to access your data on the file servers or on mobile devices, on cell phone, on laptop or browser or one of those neural network AI type of data. Also, from the cloud, you could back it up to HCP or to one of the gateway, one of the file servers, which act as the gateway in front of HCP, in front of object storage. Okay. So how do you connect to HCP is, again, via, you could use a gateway like SMB or NFS gateway to provide the legacy protocols like CIF and NFS. And on the back end, the gateway will talk to the object storage platform over S3 interface. You also can connect to HCP by using one of the data platform like our very high performance Hitachi content software for files, which is the parallel file system. You can also connect to HCP using API. So you can use your API to store read and write data in HCP. So one of the gateway solutions that we offer is called Hitachi Content Platform and Anywhere Enterprise, or HCP Anywhere Enterprise for short. And how do we protect HCP Anywhere Enterprise, the data that you stored in HCP Anywhere Enterprise server, one of your file servers, against ransomware? So we have a feature called Ransomware solution, which is integrated with HCP Anywhere Enterprise. It's called ransomware protection. Okay, what it offers is really real-time AI detection. So it's based on AI, very intelligent, that can protect your data. It offers features like a honeypot out there that will entice the hackers. If they attack that honeypot, then they will be detected right away. Also, we provide data exfiltration prevention. So the ransomware solution also make sure it will protect the data at all times by offering this filtration system. And with zero-day protection, because you will be able to restore your data as soon as the attack happens, right? You don't have to wait around for hours or days to make sure your data is recovered. You can get access to your data right away as soon as the restoration is started. You don't have to wait until everything is loaded back online before you can access your data. Okay? And lastly, yes, that instant recovery from snapshot, from the copy of your snapshot of the data to provide instant recovery. So HCP Enterprise also leverage the durability of HCP, our object storage platform, by storing the data, the frequently accessed data locally, and then on the back end, HCP Anywhere Enterprise will migrate the data or tier the data to HCP, the object storage platform, over S3. Right? But all of your metadata still available locally for fast access. Okay. Any questions so far? Sorry, I forgot to stop and ask if you have any questions. Feel free to interrupt anytime you have any questions. Okay.
How often do you refresh the cache?
So the frequency can be set as low as 5 seconds. So, but you could set the frequency to refresh the cache or tear out the data to the object storage in the background as low as 5 seconds.
Does it compromise performance if it is too frequent?
Yes. So the more frequent you refresh it, the more overhead it would take. Yeah, good question. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, then let's talk about how you protect the data that you might have stored in HCSF or Hitachi Content Software for File. Okay, it is an extremely high performance parallel file system in the industry. So no other file system out there can outperform HCSF. It is based on NVMe drive, so it takes advantage of the performance capability of NVMe drives and GPU. So it also has a very high access, low latency POSIX protocol that you could use to access your data. That would be the highest performance protocols that you might want to use. But in addition to POSIX, HCSF also support NFS, SMB, and S3 interface. So you could store the data in any one of those protocols and access your data stored in HCSF through any one of those popular protocols. Okay? So how do you protect the data that you might have stored in HCSF is by taking advantage of the warm snapshot capability of HCSF, which has been very tightly integrated with HCP on the back end. So you could take the warm-based snapshot periodically to back up your data to HCP, and from HCP, you could replicate your data to the remote site to make sure that you have another copy available, okay? So that's how you protect your data that you have in object storage, your data that you might have on your file servers, whether it's on HCP or Enterprise, or in HCSF, Hitachi Content Solution for file. So we provide this integrated platform for all type of services, right? Whether you have an S3-based application out there, or file services, or one of those next-gen applications, you could back-end the data, the storage with object storage like HCP, and make sure that it is protected, well protected and secured at all times. Okay. So any questions, any other questions you may have on the solutions that we have talked about?
What is the uptime? What is the availability price?
Availability, so it depends on how you architect your environment, right? If you have replication across sites with erasure coding technology, we offer up to, we have proven and tested to provide HCP solution to provide up to 15.9 durabilities. So very, very highly reliable.
Not availability, durability.
The durability, availability is similar. So availability remains, availability means how long your data can afford to be offline. So with 5.9 availabilities mean 5 minutes of uptime, right? So it depends on how you architect your infrastructure. If you make sure that it is stored with multiple copies, like 4 copies, or store across site, and with self-healing, it could provide up to 9 availabilities. Yes. So 9, what do you call it? 9 availabilities. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Good question. So any other questions you might have before our quiz time? Okay. I know we only have a few minutes left. So yeah, in summary, we have talked about 4 main things, right? The first one is cyber security versus cyber resiliency. Who remember what's the difference? Yes.
Humans, I think it's resiliency.
That's good. Okay. Well, you want to go select one of these giveaways? Oh, okay, you did. Okay, good. All right. So the next, these are the main summary of the difference between the two, cybersecurity versus cyber resiliency, which is very important that we keep in mind. So backup to object storage. Why you would want to back up to object storage as opposed to any other storage medium? Anybody remember? Yes? Yes, exactly right. Thank you. Do you want any of these giveaway? The fan? Sure. Yes, I love these fans. Come in very handy. Okay, I'll get another one. Well, something about that. I shouldn't go to this side anymore. Okay. That's reserved for the last and most important question. Okay, so yeah, for backup storage with object storage offers you that immutability with retention capability. So very, very important in protecting your data. And the third question is protecting your primary data. So remember, we talked about protecting data that you might have stored on your primary storage, like file servers. So anybody remember the two options that we talked about, how to protect your primary storage? Anybody? Okay, so we talked about HCP Anywhere Enterprise that has the built-in ransomware protection capability, and also backing up to HCP, the worm-based and S3 object lock support to protect your data. We also talked about Hitachi content software for file solution with the worm-based snapshot capability to store the snapshot of your data in an object storage. Okay, now the last and most important question, Hitachi content platform object storage. Who remembers 3 of the features that HCP offers that are highly desirable in an object storage platform to provide protection for your data? Yes. Erasure coding is one. S3 object lock, good. Yes, resiliency or security by design. Very, very good. Okay, you get the most important prize. Okay, thank you. No, I'm like, thank you. Okay, well, that's the end of our talk, and thank you so much for your time today. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. My name again is Christie Nguyen, so it's first name dot last name at hitachivantara.com. If you have any questions or interested in any of the solutions that Hitachi offer, like block storage, file storage, or object storage, or any of our solutions, software solutions that we provide, feel free to reach out to the Hitachi team here or myself if you have any questions that could help answer. Okay? Thanks for your time.